Okay, so we're back in Katrina Lewis's Louis Cobbler project. The sequence is down here. It's been covered with B-roll now, using the three-point edit technique that was discussed earlier. So the next step in the process is adjusting audio levels. So let's take a listen to the beginning of the piece and pay particular attention to the audio levels here. As a reminder, A1 is the reporter track, and your sound bites that were recorded with the wireless microphones on the camera, and A2 is your natural sound.
Gregory Moore became a cobbler because he was at the right place at the right time.
Okay, so clearly we have a problem with the natural sound on this shot. These two shots sounded good. The natural sound was not overpowering the reporter track, but once that sander fired up, huge disaster. So I'm going to click on the hamburger menu here, and I'm going to go ahead and bring up the waveforms so you can actually visually see how loud that sander is. So the tool we're going to use to adjust our audio is found under the Tools menu, Audio Mixer. And there are two faders here, one corresponding to A1, one corresponding to A2, and then a master, which is the overall audio levels of the piece. In this situation, we just need to adjust the audio 2 level down. And since that is so loud, we're probably going to bring it down, minus 25, which is a huge adjustment. And then we have to listen to it again.
He was at the right place at the right time. An acquaintance was selling shoe repair machinery.
So that's fairly good. So I might take it down just a hair more and listen to it again.
The right time. An acquaintance was selling shoe repair machinery.
He said that if I wanted to...
Okay. Alright, now the next thing I want you to notice is that the level of the recorded voice track is higher than the audio level of our recorded SOTs. So let's listen to Katrina.
Became a cobbler because he was at the right place at the right time.
So you can see where she's up here, but yet during our
Said that
SOTs,
if I wanted to buy the machinery and whatever, that he would train me.
our SOTs are certainly lower. We want to match the audio levels across the whole piece. So remember when adjusting your SOTs that you want to favor the A1 channel because that is this wireless microphone. Note that she did not do a good job of dressing this cable. We should not see the microphone cable, and it is a bit low, which is why our audio levels are low, but we can work with it. So we're going to bring up the A1 levels and listen to this SOT again.
He said that if I wanted to buy the machine...
Okay, it's low enough that I think we can take it all the way up in this case.
He said that if I wanted to buy the machinery and whatever, that he would train me.
So in this case, what we're going to also do, since we have this SOT all the way up, is we're actually going to take Katrina down some so that we can match these levels.
Cobbler because he was at the right place at the right time. An acquaintance was selling shoe repair machinery.
He said that if I wanted to...
Yeah, we're going to take her down. We're going to take her down a little bit more.
Was at the right place at the right time. An acquaintance was selling shoe repair machinery.
He said that if I wanted to buy the machinery and whatever...
Great. And so having made that adjustment on her track at -6, I can tell you immediately that all of her track is going to need to come down the same amount. So that's going to be a consistent edit. So you can see where I'm just going into different sections of her track, right? Different sections of her track, taking it down by 6. And then here's his SOT, which our adjustment was +12, right? So over here we adjusted it +12. So you know that his SOTs will always need to be adjusted at +12 too. And here we are back in another section of her track. So we're going to take that down by 6. Here is our stand-up. We'll have to listen to that individually. Here's another SOT of his. We know that goes up to 12. And here is her outro, which we'll need to check as well. So let's take a listen here.
Moore works on shoes and small accessories. One of his
There we go. Some more sanding. Now we took the last sanding down 26.7. So we're going to do the same thing here. And I can see visually that there is more sanding over here. Might as well go ahead and make that adjustment now as well. And always listen across.
And that's how I got started.
Moore works on shoes and small accessories. One of his most common
That's gonna have to come down even more.
is replacing worn-out heels. He starts by removing the old heel.
And now we'll be sanding the heel base and sanding the heels as well. So when we get to the gluing process, the glue will adhere better.
Next, Moore hammers on the new heel and trims any excess off the edges. He finishes the
Alright, so some sanding is louder than other sanding.
heel by sand.
So we're just listening now through the piece, trying to match our audio levels across, make sure the natural sound doesn't overpower the reported track, and that the reported track and the SOTs are at roughly the same level. We're doing that with the view meter. The last thing that I want to show you really quickly about finish editing is just how to trim it up a little bit. So let's look at coming out of the first VO into the first byte.
Machinery.
He said that if I want,
So we're actually picking up a little bit of his audio
he said that if
before he's supposed to be speaking, and we have a little bit of excess Katrina. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to set an in point here in the sequence and an out point here in the sequence, defining the area that we want to remove.
he said that if I wanted to,
What we really want to pick up on is when he says, he said.
he said that if I wanted,
Which is right in here.
he said that if
Yep. So I have an in point and out point set in the sequence. I have all my tracks selected. You can visually see that by the highlighted region. I'm going to use the X key and I'm going to cut that out. Now I have this.
Shoe repair machinery.
he said that if I wanted to buy the machinery and whatever, that he would train me. So I figured free education, and that's how I got started.
So we have the same issue here where we have a lot
That's
of
how I
dead
got
space
started.
after him and some space at the beginning of the next shot that we don't need.
More work.
So we just do the same thing. We go in here, we set an in point, and you can a lot of this you can do visually. In point and an out point, and hit X, tighten that up.
And that's how I got started.
Moore works on shoes and small accessories. One of his most common repairs.
Excellent. So we're just going to keep working through the piece that way. I'm just taking the natural sound down here. There's a lot of background talking.
And that's how I got started.
Moore works on shoes and small accessories. One of his most common repairs is replacing worn-out heels. He starts by removing the old heel.
And now we'll.
Now, this is a great example. Here, the natural sound, he's actually talking,
He starts by removing.
which is competing with Katrina's track. So we're going to have to take his natural sound down and just put him in the background so that the viewer knows who to listen to.
Heels. He starts by removing the old heel.
And now we'll be sanding the heel base.
And we're just going to work left to right through our piece here, making sure our audio levels are good, and just trimming up all the transition points to make sure we don't have a lot of dead air or extraneous bits and fluffs of audio. Once you've got that completed, then your piece is in fairly good shape, and at that point it'll be time to show it to the faculty for their comments, and then you can move on to more advanced editing techniques. But with what I've shown you here, certainly enough to get through your first packages. I'm closing my bin to save it, and I am exiting the Avid application.